So today, we're diving into a project report for a social network that completely flips the script. I mean, what if professional networking wasn't about the job you have, but about the job you don't? This whole explainer is about a platform built for, well, everyone who's not exactly crushing it on the corporate ladder right now.
And this quote, this mission statement, just gets right to the point, doesn't it? This isn't about climbing that ladder, it's about finding a community when you've fallen off of it. It's a space designed for real, honest conversations in a professional world that, usually demands we pretend everything's perfect. So how are they going to pull that off?
Well, to really get what NotWorking is trying to be, we first have to talk about what it's trying not to be. The whole idea is a reaction, a rebellion, against what we think of as professional social media. It is, from the ground up, the anti-LinkedIn. And the core problem they're tackling is something the report calls toxic positivity. You know exactly what this is. It's that endless scroll of thrilled-to-announce posts, the constant talk about synergy and wins, and this unspoken pressure to perform success 24/7. It can feel pretty isolating if that's not your reality.
And this slide just lays it all out, side by side. On the left, you've got the performance, the hustle, the corporate buzzwords. And on the right, you have what most people are actually going through: struggle, trying to find some humor in it, and just craving a little bit of authenticity. NotWorking is basically making a big bet that people are desperate for that second column.
Okay, so with that whole philosophy as our backdrop, let's pull back the curtain and take a look inside the actual app. They've already got a working minimum viable product, an MVP, with the core features up and running. So, welcome to the Void.
The main feed is fittingly called the Void. It has all the modern bells and whistles you'd expect, but the real magic is that it's all happening in real time. It uses something called WebSockets, which is basically like a live open phone line to the server. That means new posts just appear, no refreshing needed. It's built to be a totally seamless space for venting, commiserating, and, a bit of doom scrolling.
Oh, and this is just brilliant. This is where the satire really shines. Your profile doesn't have a list of your past jobs. Nope. Your main experience is a live counter showing the time since last paycheck. It totally flips the whole idea of a resume on its head and turns unemployment into a kind of badge of honor.
The chat is also completely real-time. But here's a clever little detail under the hood they call smart room logic. It's basically a bit of code that makes sure when you and I want to start a chat, we both end up in the exact same digital room, every single time. It's one of those small technical things that prevents headaches and makes the whole experience feel solid.
So we've seen the what, now for the how. Let's take a quick peek at the technical architecture that's making all of this happen, because it's pretty smart and built to be super efficient.
Yeah, that's the big question, right? To get all this real-time stuff working smoothly without a giant expensive server farm, you need to be clever with your technology. And the tech stack here is all about being fast and lightweight. The team made some really savvy choices here. For the front end, the part you actually see and touch, they skipped the big, heavy frameworks and just used plain old JavaScript to keep it lightning fast. And for the back end, they're using a service called Supabase. You can think of it as a Swiss Army knife that handles the database, the real-time features, all in one package. And because it's serverless, it's incredibly cost-effective.
Now, this hybrid setup is the secret sauce. They're using Google's Firebase just for signing users in, because it's super secure and reliable. But all the actual data, every post, every comment, lives in Supabase. It's like using one company for the locks on your doors and a different company for the filing cabinets inside. You get the best of both worlds. But you have to be really smart to get those two systems to talk to each other perfectly. And that brings us to the messy reality of building something new. It's never a straight line from A to B. The road to getting this MVP working was paved with bugs, some pretty serious crashes, and a lot of clever problem solving.
For instance, that hybrid system we just talked about, it caused a huge crash because Firebase and Supabase identify users in slightly different ways. Fixing it meant moving all the user data over. Then there was a bug where the chat sidebar would just load forever. They had to find a smarter way to grab that data. And they even built a backup system to make sure profile pictures would always show up. Each fix didn't just solve a problem, it made the whole app more resilient.
Okay, so with that solid foundation in place, the project's now heading into what the report calls the satire phase. This is where the platform's funny, unique personality is really going to start to pop.
First things first, they are killing the generic like button. Instead, you're going to get a menu of reactions that actually make sense for this community. You can give a post an oof for empathy,
press F to pay respects for a rough story, or just hit mood when something is a little too real.
And get this, there's going to be a global live counter right in the sidebar, tracking every single time a user reports getting ghosted by a job application. It turns that lonely, frustrating feeling into this huge collective scoreboard of shared experience. It's absolutely genius.
And for the grand finale, the ultimate feature. A whole new feed where people can anonymously post their worst, weirdest, or funniest rejection letters. Then the whole community gets to vote on them. It's about turning those personal L's into a win for the whole group.
So that's the vision for NotWorking. And it really leaves you with this one big question, right? In a world that is just obsessed with perfectly curated stories of success, maybe being honest about the struggle isn't a weakness. Maybe it's the most powerful career move any of us can make.